The one they love prefers the feeling of a reality. So why can't that person leave your mind? Well, when you're in love, there is this almost hypnotic madness. Constant thoughts, they're waiting for a message, a sign, or a gesture that confirms the feeling is mutual. There is also that strange sense of safety when you're with them, as if the whole world suddenly makes sense just because they exist. All the fantasies you created about them start to feel possible, and you desperately want them to become real. Even when things go very wrong, arguments, silence, or disappointment, your mind tends to erase those parts, choosing instead to hold on to the idea you've built. And deep down, what matters, what you feel. And what you feel is overwhelming. It doesn't matter if it hurts or heals. The desire to be with the one you love speaks louder. This is a big problem because the real person isn't exactly what holds you, it's what they represent inside you. When I began to think more seriously about things like children and marriage, I started creating fantasies about the kind of person I wanted. And whenever I fall in love, it's never easy to forget. It can take years to move on. And looking back, I realized that the people I became obsessed with had something that I felt was missing in my life. They reflected an image of the perfect family I used to imagine. Now I see that these passions were driven more about my own desires than by what these people really had to offer me. And when we fall in love, we project the parts of our own unconscious soul onto another person, and the symbolic figure carries everything we lack, our unfulfilled wishes, our deep needs. The beloved becomes a living image of what we want to integrate, a mirror of what the unconscious seek. It isn't really about wanting to possess someone, but about wanting to feel whole. And when we love, we project onto the other what we want them to be. That's when suffering begins. The pain, the disappointment, the endless cycle of idealizations and frustrations. When passion turns into obsession, it's a mix of brain chemistry, emotional need, and symbolic fantasy. During passion, the brain releases a powerful chemical combination: dopamine, which brings pleasure and reward, noradrenaline, which creates excitement and focus, and oxytocin and serotonin, which build attachment and bonding. The loved person becomes the stimulus that activates your reward system. And when they pull away, your brain goes into emotional withdrawal. That's why you feel the emptiness, the desperation. It feels supernatural because your body literally experiences the kind of chemical collapse in their absence. And this can happen because of all emotional wounds, the need for validation, fear of abandonment, low self esteem, or inconsistent affection. When the person sometimes gives you attention and sometimes doesn't, the brain learns to wait for the next sign, becoming even more addicted. That's why it feels almost mystical. Why I can't stop thinking about them? Or why does it feel like destiny? In truth, it's just your mind trying to regain the thing that once makes you feel alive. We tend to believe it's something magical, our soulmate, a divine connection, but what if it's just brain chemistry? When you realize that what the other person awakes in you actually belongs to your own world, something within your own soul, love stops being a prison and becomes a path to self knowledge. There is no instant call for obsession or intense passion, but there are effective psychological ways to retrain your mind and emotions. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps you a lot to organize automatic thoughts like I'm nothing without them, I would never feel this again. You learn to question those beliefs and then replace them with realistic thoughts. This is intense, but I know it's temporary. I missed people before and I heal it. Over time, this will reprogram your brain. Another helpful technique is pattern interruption. When your mind starts spinning, will they text me? You constantly break the cycle. You can move your body, breathe deeply, take a cold drink, or change your focus by listening to music or writing down what you feel. With repetition, your brain learns that thinking about the person no longer brings you real reward. It's also important to stop thinking or feeding the fantasy, saying the person more realistic without filters or idealizations, and it can be a very healthy shock. The obsessive lover gives all meaning in life to another person. The way out is to redirect the emotional energy to reconnect with hobbies, friendships, spirituality, and the small joys outside of the relationship. The brain needs new sources of dopamine, otherwise, it keeps creating the same stimulus.